Watching the relationship with Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith unfold, people seem surprised. That is because most people are into surface relationships and believe what they are told. Maybe my feelings are biased because I have always been an anti-Jada Pinkett. The first time I was introduced to her was through a different world. Her character was very raunchy to my young mind that I rejected her presence and refused to watch any episode she was in. I had an aversion to her character. In other words, Jada ruined a different world for me. I felt her character had a Jezebel spirit. And I guess I wasn't too far off the actual person playing the role. Also, I never felt that Jada was a great actress. She always gave off cringe, over-the-top exaggerated acting. I find that type of acting to be corny. She a better actress in her head than she really is. She think every role needs to be tackled with aggression. Be calming down, Jada. Be calming down. Her acting to me was always a little off the mark. In every role I saw her in. Whether A Different World, Jason's Lyric, or Woo. I think she did better in Girls Trip, but I can't remember because Tiffany Haddish stole the movie. Plain and simple. Was I a big fan of Will Smith? I watched The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but he was not my favorite character on the show. It was the co-stars and guest co-stars that really entertained me. His acting was good on the show, but I am not sure his character had much development, which was a bit annoying to me. He was like the boy who never grew up. And to be honest, I never got into the new Aunt Viv. Even though years later, I realized that the original Aunt Viv was toxic. I think that's the issue with Will Smith. He's been surrounded by toxic women his whole life, that he doesn't know any other way. I don't think he had a great relationship with his mother, but I didn't watch their sit-down video to understand their dynamic. He was married to a woman who I personally think was a better fit than his current on and off wife. But of course he cheated on her with different women and she decided to leave him. Will, a person who might have abandonment and rejection issues, moved on to one of his side chick, which as we now know is Mrs. Jada Pinkett Smith. I don't think most of Hollywood or public ever fully embrace their relationship. Sure, there are a group of people who thought they had the perfect relationship. Will made sure of that. He didn't want to seem like a failure for having divorced one woman and then ending up in another relationship that wasn't working. Jada being in the same field of work, they probably decided to manufacture an A-list power couple relationship. However, Jada was always the weakest link in that partnership. She was not pulling her weight or bringing much to the table. I know. I also hate when men ask what do women bring to the table. However, in a business alignment it does matter. Will was starring in top movies, networking with top celebrities, and being a top celebrity in his own right. Jada was doing okay movies every now and then, but for the most part besides maybe Matrix, Set It Off and Gotham the TV show. Her body of work is not really impressive. That is because, as much as she was Will Smith a top celebrity wife, she herself was only a celebrity by association. Honestly, no one would care about Jada if it wasn't because of Will. She would have been forgotten in the 90s and maybe early 20s, and she is well aware of that. Watching their interviews over the years, where Will would overshare their sex life and she will reel him in. He would want to have PDA and she would also pulled away. Two things crossed my mind, either she did not like him as much as he likes her or they were hiding something. This was what my teenage mind came up with, and I never bought into their love story. It was always more of a lust story to me. Now we are here in 2022 to 2023, where their lies and public image is starting to crumble and unravel. We've always heard rumors of their sex life, which I believe because not a lot shocks me in Hollywood. Jada always gave off to me as being a closet lesbian. Or maybe bisexual. There are also rumors about Will. That was more surprising to me. I don't know if she introduced him to the lifestyle or because they were both into it, they decided to form a relationship that allows both of them to do whatever they want behind closed doors. I am not going to judge their sexuality. Once it does not involve grooming or minors. They can have relationships with furries and plushies for all I care. Having said that, looking at the difference between how Jada raised her children and Jada ex-wife, I will give my opinion that she wasn't a great mother either. I won't go into the details of how messed up I think both their children are, especially the boy. It's because of their environment and my assumption of Jada for having a Jezebel spirit at a very young age. It's one thing to lead a promiscuous lifestyle. It's another to include or involve your children. That is also a form of grooming. Everyone is wondering why Will stays in the relationship with Jada. Most people feel she's blackmailing him, holding secrets that he doesn't want the world to find out. It could be all of that. However, what I am wondering is if Will Smith is in a secret conservatorship. I won't put it past Jada. She seems diabolic and controlling enough to put Will in a contract that would tie him to her for life in exchange for keeping his secrets and lifestyle under wraps. She probably engaged and introduced him to the lifestyle to have leverage over him. Maybe I am giving her too much power. At this point, it's all speculations because I don't care enough about her to read her book. Reading Gabrielle Union's autobiography made me dislike her more. Might be case with Jada, and I dislike her enough. Will Smith, contrary to his movie roles, is not an alpha male. However, Jada might be to a certain extent an alpha woman. For a long time Jada kept quiet about their personal relationship. It was Will who was more open, sugarcoating their union. I believe the reason why Jada is now opening up is because of fear of losing Will or control over Will. I believe Will was starting to break away from their toxic bond and gaining independence from her control. She was used to being the one in charge of their relationship and didn't like losing the upper hand. She's using her suddenly openness as a form of negotiation and manipulation of Will and the public. Either we stay together or I expose all our business. Will in a passive-aggressive co-conspirator who does not really care because it gives him the opportunity to continue to live his lies and secret lifestyle. Whether it be other women or men, maybe both. Again, it begs the question, is Will Smith in a conservatorship? What kind of ironclad contract does Jada have over him? The public is no longer interested in them staying together. They would prefer they go their separate ways. Will Smith's name was in the flight log. You know what flight log I am talking about. He was also in some suspicious after parties with Dwayne Wayne, Tisha Campbell's ex-husband and Lisa Ray Arnold ex-husband. That may or may not have included other women and men. I am sure there's more besides those incidents. The public has now been conditioned and groomed through media and reality TV to accept those types of relationships. Will is not the wholesome golden boy of Hollywood as his image implies. People forget that Chris Rock is not the first man Will has slapped. He has slapped at least one or two other men. That I know of. None were famous except Rock. Will having anger issues makes me wonder if he ever took it out on his wife behind closed doors and if that is guilt she's holding over him. To be honest, if it was true, most of the public wouldn't believe her because she's not loved by the public. Her own doing through arrogance and self-inflated ego wouldn't make it right if Will is also an abuser. I am not saying he is. We are speculating because they have brought us to this point. Do not put out your business if you don't want people talking. At this point, whether Will Smith prefers to live the Hollywood lifestyle, I do not know if it will mess up his stardom. Anyone that hangs around Tom Cruise is suspect in my eyes. It's the flight logs that had me raising an eyebrow. But the question begs, why are Will and Jada choosing to stay in a toxic bad marriage when they could easily divorce and stay in each other lives like his ex? What could Jada have over Will that has him shaking in his boots? That he decided to risk it all with a slap heard around the world when he was the one that called it quits. Did he want to pretend they were back together because of the flight logs? It's giving Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie Presley. I'm just saying. At this point, if Will is in a conservatorship, I don't see any hope for him ever getting out of that relationship. Didn't Kim Kardashian try to put Kanye in one and he had to quickly marry another woman to prevent it from happening? Nothing is what it seems in Hollywood. There is not one relationship in Hollywood that people should look up to. It's all a facade, like the movies. The sooner people understand that, the more celebrities would stop feeling the need to live a lie. Whatever Will's sexuality is, I don't think his estranged wife should hold it over him in order to get screen time. She resents him and blames him for not being as famous. Jada, your personality and acting talent or lack thereof did that, boo. In conclusion, whether Jada is the villain or not does not matter. Will now knows what he got himself into. He probably didn't know when he was younger and going off hormones. Once he is not on drugs and can make sound decisions for himself, he chose to sell his soul. I think it's time we start minding our business. I've been bored with their relationship from the beginning. Will could have chosen better, but he didn't. Now he is stuck with karma. Men will cheat on their wives and end up with demons. Once his life is not in danger, I don't feel bad for him. The end. Moving on.